Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we're going to be talking about some secret changes that Rockstar made to Grand Theft Auto Online, prepping for what looks to be the next GTA 5 DLC, one that's going to involve vehicle importing and exporting, what we've seen on the newswire as high-level, high-risk, high-reward, vehicle-based business ventures. They did some secret changes in the Bikers update that is very, very mysterious, interesting, super cool, and gives us a kind of a good look at what their plans ultimately might be for that update. We're going to be talking about all of that in this video. I'll also leave links in the description if you're interested in checking out the content a little bit more for yourself. Also, about the gameplay, I joined a random lobby in online, and there was someone in here who knew how to fly. So I just kind of rolled with it, and we just kind of did whatever he did. So I was just going along for it. Hopefully you guys do enjoy. Like I said, if you do, drop it a like. That'd be awesome. But let's not waste any more time, and let's get it started. So do you guys remember from yesterday, we talked about a post from Yan2295, who stated that it looks like we've got one more update left remaining in 2016 for Grand Theft Auto Online, and that looks to be coming sometime in December. And he was obviously talking about the vehicle importing and exporting stuff, but he also said that there is a possibility that it could be delayed just due to the fact that Grand Theft Auto Online Bikers was pushed back a good amount of time. So that actually prompted a response from FunMW2, who was responding to someone about why we didn't see certain features released with Bikers. So he was talking about the car selling concept, and he stated, "The car selling business is supposed to be released with Bikers. I don't know what happened, but the script GB vehicle export existed before the release of Cunning Stunts. It's not far away from being released, as it's been planned alongside the Bikers or a part of Bikers. I really don't know." Okay, so that is incredibly interesting. That script that FunMW2 is talking about, vehicle exporting, was in the game before Cunning Stunts. So Rockstar's been planning this vehicle importing and exporting update way before Bikers, Cunning Stunts, and probably even before Finance and Felony. So this is something that's been in the work for a while now and looks to be a big, big update as far as Grand Theft Auto Online goes. And he responded again by saying, "Same goes for that one that starts with AMMP Personal Mod Garage, but we found out that it is the special mechanic for MC clubs." So that was one of the scripts that we were curious about and was added within Cunning Stunts or even before that, but it turned out that that was just the biker mechanic for our MC clubhouses. But he goes on to say, anyways, all we know about the vehicle export thing is what Wildbrick found about DLC vehicles having new variations. And I actually missed this, and I was like really confused. I was like, wait a minute. What about new DLC vehicles having variations? So I did some research into this, and I went back and I found this post from about a week ago. So I completely missed this, but this is very, very interesting. And this text comes from Wildbrick142. So he states, concerning speculation on the business ventures within a list of vehicles, the 811, Bestia GTS, BF400, Brigade, Brioso, Cliffhanger, Desert Raid, Drift Tampa, ETR1, FMJ, Gargoyle, Lynx, Omnis, RE7B, Rumpo Custom, 770, Trophy Truck, Tropos Rally, Tyrus, X80 Proto, and XLS. He goes on to say, so you may wonder, so what's up with these vehicles? And for those of you guys that were counting, there were 21 of them in that list. Well, he goes on to say, well, something very interesting has happened to them. In the Bikers update, they were given new car variation lines. So car variation lines basically tells the vehicles what mod kit it has, what plates it can spawn with, what light settings it uses, and what colors it spawns with in traffic. Basically, the cars received new color sets that would appear in traffic. And then in quotes, he says, or if you just spawn them by a game script/mod menu. So here's where things get interesting. He goes on to say, the thing is, Rockstar is too lazy to add these vehicles to single player, which is true. None of the vehicles that were in that list are in single player right now, let alone in traffic. So it seems kind of fishy that they would take time to add new traffic spawn colors to these vehicles. Previously, almost all of the vehicles above had one copy-pasted color only. Now they have 7 to 10 different colors. Even more interestingly, some vehicles from these two DLCs were not updated, the Contender and the Reaper, for example, and neither have any of the other previous DLCs. He wraps up by saying, I wonder if these are some of the vehicles we'll see in the vehicle business, or whether this is an entirely different project. I simply don't believe they would do this for no reason. So right off the bat, I agree with Wildbrick. Rockstar typically does everything for a reason. They wouldn't just waste time adding 7 to 10 different colors for vehicles if they didn't really have a purpose for it. Number 2, there is a mysterious trend here. All the vehicles that I listed, I'm not going to repeat them because it's kind of a long list, they were all from either Cunning Stunts or Finance and Felony. And there were 2 vehicles that were left off, the Contender and the Reaper, which is really random because the Contender is a truck and the Reaper is a supercar. So I'm not sure what correlation or connection those 2 vehicles have. One of them was added via tunables. One of them was added with the actual DLC content. So once again, I'm not sure their connection there, but that's very interesting. It seems as if Rockstar are going to be using these vehicles for the import-exporting, high-risk, high-reward business system. At least that's what it seems like right now. Well, you might be curious what these sort of vehicles look like when they spawn into the game and what sort of random patterns they have. Well, I'll show you guys a couple right now. Here is the Drift Tampa. You can see this one's kind of got like a steel and green pearlescent look to it, with the roof and wheels being in a bright lime green. So that's one of the various random color combinations that you'll see spawned. We can also see in this vehicle right here with the links, you can see it's got this kind of like bronzy gold spawning color, which is very, very interesting. Seems to have kind of like a cream or a white pearlescent to go along with it as well. So that was the links. We've also got the 811, which spawned in this kind of orangey yellow with a silverish blue secondary. Again, a very interesting kind of a random combination right there. And then we get the XLS, and this one's kind of spawned in with a burgundy red / orange yellow kind of pearlescent hybrid right there. So those are some of the examples that they're talking about and some of the new random patterns that are applied to these vehicles when they are spawned in the game. Or in the case of Grand Theft Auto Online, maybe when we'll find them to use in the vehicle-based business ventures. So FunMW2 kind of clarifies this a little bit more by stating another comment, and he says, new colors for spawned vehicles that aren't scripted to have custom colors. DLC vehicles aren't supposed to receive new variations since they are always scripted to have custom colors. So basically what that means is these vehicles are unique, and they have unique modifications and now variations to them that other DLC vehicles have not received. So once again, this doesn't seem to be random, and it doesn't appear that Rockstar just plucked random vehicles either, because all of them are from the last 2 DLCs, Cunning Stunts and Finance and Felony, which is kind of odd. What's wrong with the other vehicles that were added into the game? Like ones from Executives and Other Criminals, or maybe Ill-Gotten Gains or something along those lines. I'm not too sure, but I thought that was very, very weird. But now what I want to do is talk about what I think these mean. So I think these variations are obviously unique paint jobs that are going to be applied to each vehicle, and those will obviously be the ones that we're going to import and export. And those are the unique paint jobs that we'll see them in game. So let's say that we've got an import/export mission going on, and it asks us to find one of these cars. Let's just say the 811, for example. Instead of it spawning in like a boring black color or a white color, it'll have a fun variation and design, likely to try and make it feel like a more realistic situation, like it was someone's personal vehicle or it was a car that was modified already and not just something that they grabbed off the streets. I think that adds a little bit more uniqueness, variation to the missions themselves. So I do kind of like that, and I think that could be incredibly enjoyable. Now, what this has also kind of done is raise some questions from myself about how this will work. You know, if these are some of the vehicles that we will be importing and exporting, I wonder what each one will be worth to us when we eventually sell them in these types of missions. You know, are we going to get a cut of the full price? Are we going to get, you know, some sort of percentage based off of how perfect or how not perfect the car was delivered to the buyer or the seller or whatever the case is going to be? There's so many questions here, but it looks like the focus is now going to be on these existing vehicles in the game. Now, that's not to say that Rockstar couldn't add new vehicles into the game that have the exact same variations, but what it does mean is that Rockstar is prepping existing vehicles into the game to what looks to be a part of this new update as well. So it looks like the importing and exporting vehicle system is going to feature new vehicles. Obviously, it would be odd to see Rockstar add a new update into the game without vehicles, and a mixture of old vehicles from Finance and Felony and the Cunning Stunts DLC. So as I was saying earlier, I really hope that this DLC is not delayed because it really does sound incredible. Obviously, this is something that we really haven't seen before in Grand Theft Auto Online. I mean, we have seen it in a lesser degree with the Simeon stuff, but not on like a full-fledged business scale that can lead to some serious money and awesome gameplay opportunities. So, as always, let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. I think this DLC is awesome. It sounds so cool, and I'm so hyped for it, and I'm ready to just get some new information on it as well. So, like I said, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.